Okay, so I'm here again, I'm back again. This is the second part of the reported speech. There might be 3 or 4 parts, but the videos don't have to be long. So the second is about sequence of tenses, right? As I told you, when you are reporting, you have to modify, and therefore you have to use the sequence of the original tense. And the examples I used, one was in simple past and the other was in simple future using will. And I told you that if you have simple past, when you report, you use the past perfect, right? If you have future with will, then you have to use future with would, okay? Now, I'm going to give you an overall idea, but your homework is to identify the simple present, the simple past, the simple future, etc. There are some lists. If you Google them, then you can find, if you write sequence of tenses reported speech, you will see all the forms and how you have to modify. But pretty much, I'm going to give you the most important. If in your original you use the simple present, then in your report, you must use simple past. For example, I am happy. She said she was happy. My parents are divorced. She told me her parents were divorced, right? This is simple present. It goes to simple past. I am using the verb to be. Now, I can also use action verbs. I don't like pizza. She said she didn't like pizza. She didn't like pizza. My friends don't like English. She said her friends didn't like English, right? So simple present, when you report, you use the simple past. It can be affirmative, negative, the verb to be, or action verbs. Then, if your original is in present continuous, then in your report you have to use past continuous. For example, I am teaching. She said she was teaching. My brothers are not playing. She said her brothers were not playing. My mother is watching TV. She told me her mother was watching TV, right? So present continuous goes to past continuous, okay? Then, if you are using the present perfect, in your report, you have to use the past perfect, okay? For example, I have drunk pulque. I have drunk pulque. She said she had drunk pulque. I have, she said she had drunk, right? My sister has gone bungee jumping. She said her sister had gone bungee jumping, right? So present perfect goes to past perfect, right? Then, if you happen to listen to the simple past in the original, then if it's simple past, you transform into the past perfect. For example, I went to Walmart yesterday. She said she had gone to Walmart yesterday. I didn't like the movie. She said she hadn't liked the movie, right? So simple past goes into the past perfect, okay? Then, if you have the past continuous, then in your report you have to use the past perfect but continuous. For example, I was watching TV. She said she had been watching TV. My sisters were dancing. She said her sisters had been dancing. Okay. My boyfriend is not listening to music. She told me her boyfriend, sorry, my boyfriend wasn't listening to music. She said her boyfriend hadn't been listening to music. So as you can see, past continuous goes to past perfect continuous, right? If in your original you have the past perfect, there is no modification because the past perfect is the past of the past, so there's no modification, right? So past perfect. No? I have learned English when I became an English teacher. She said she had learned English when she became an English teacher, right? So there is no modification. And then there are other changes, right? Well, this is just for the simple present and all the pasts, right? If you have any questions, well, pause the video, check, listen to the examples. You may have a clear idea of what the present is, what the past is, what the present continuous is, etc. Right? So I'm going to erase this information, so as to continue. Then, if in your original you use will, which is simple future with will, then in your report you have to use the future but with would, right? I will go to a party. She said she would go to a party. My sister will dance with me. She told me her sister, would dance with her. When you use will or would, your verb is in simple form, right? Then, if you are using can, in your report you use could. I can teach English. Well, I guess. In that report, she told me she could teach English. I can play the piano. She said she couldn't play the piano, right? So can goes to could. Then if you are using may, in your report, you use might, right? I may go to the cinema later today. She said she might go to the cinema later today. My brother and sister may visit me next December. She said her brother and sister might visit her the following December, right? So you can use this in affirmative, negative. Remember, with auxiliaries like will, can, may, might, could, would, you always have to use the verb in simple form. No modification. It's not possible to say, I would play it. I would play, right? And there are also time expressions, as we saw. You can say yesterday. So all those expressions that refer to the past, you have to use the before. For example, yesterday, you say the day before. Last week, the week before. Last year, the year before, right? All those time expressions that refer to the future, for example, next year, you have to use the following and the expression. Next year, the following year. Next month, the following month. Next December, the following December, right? And there are other changes that you have to make. For example, if in your original you use this, so when you report, you have to use that. This is my pencil. She said that was her pencil. No? If you use this in plural, your report you use those. These are my markers. She said those were her markers, right? So pretty much this is the reported speech. In order to use it correctly, you must learn all the structures. Guys, being honest with you, some of you think that reported speech is like, Jesus Christ, is the worst thing. No, it's not that difficult. But if you don't recognize the structures, then it may seem very difficult for you, right? So please watch both videos, pause them if it's necessary, ask me questions. That's why I opened my channel, so for people to learn English. Please recommend me if you think that I can make a great job and I can teach other people. And well, I will be seeing you. Thank you very much for watching, and so long. Bye bye.